Can giving employees too many perks at work actually be a bad thing? Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Future in 5. My name is Jacob Morgan. This is where I share my thoughts, ideas, and commentary on the future of work in 5 minutes or less. I was recently doing a video shoot for a company, and as they were putting my hair and makeup on me, being the diva that I am, needing my hair and makeup, I was speaking with the makeup artist, the makeup lady, and we struck up a conversation, and she said, I know that you talk a lot about the future of work, and every time I go into these offices at companies like Google and Facebook and these fancy technology and Bay Area companies, she says, I just can't help think to myself that these people are schmucks. I kind of feel sorry for them. And I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, well, I talk to these people, and they always say how much they love the perks that they get. They work for 14 hours, for 16 hours a day. They never want to leave their office. They get haircuts. They get mechanics that show up. They get massages. They can bring their dogs to work. It's basically like living at work. And she said, these people don't realize that actually sucks, because these organizations are simply trying to create a place where you never have to leave. And by you never leaving, you're basically essentially quite literally a slave to your job. And that's actually very interesting and got me thinking about the opposite side of perks, because as you know, I talk a lot about employee experience and designing experiences, and perks is certainly a part of that. And so it got me wondering, can providing too many perks for employees be a bad thing? What happens when you give employees so many perks that they never want to leave your job? When they start working 12, 14, 15, 18-hour days, when they start sleeping at your office, what happens then? And I think there's definitely a fine line between benefits and perks, and having some sort of a acknowledgement that this can potentially lead to burnout, to exhaustion, to depression, to anxiety. People have died from working too much. So I think ultimately what this gets behind is the intent. Why are the organizations offering so many perks and benefits and cool things for you? Some organizations genuinely care about their employees, and they want to provide them with a safe environment. They want to make them feel like they belong. Other organizations just want to get people to work longer and harder and better and faster. And what better way to do that than by giving them all this cool free stuff so that they never want to leave the office? So I think actually having too many perks for an organization can be a bad thing if those perks come with an expectation that you have to work more. In other words, if I am an organization and you are working for me and I start giving you all these wonderful things, but then I kind of hint and expect you to work longer, have dinner at the office because it's provided for you, stay till 8 o'clock, don't worry about getting a haircut, I can do that for you. If that expectation is at all implied or stated or kind of pushed across to employees, I think that's a bad thing. I think that's very dangerous. So I think these perks and cool things that organizations are doing can genuinely contribute to the employee experience, to creating a place where people want to show up. But I think the intent and why these things are being done really needs to be examined. So again, there's a fine line, there's a fine balance between providing these perks and sort of the expectation of why you're doing it. It's sort of like if I give you a gift and say, oh, you don't need to give me anything, wink, wink, right? If that kind of message is implied that I'm expecting something back, then it's not really a gift at all. So for organizations that are thinking about these things, I highly encourage you to just take a step back and think about how you are delivering this, how this is coming across to employees. Again, I'm all for perks, I'm all for benefits, I'm all for employee experience. I'm not for burnout, I'm not for exhaustion, I'm not for working for 14 to 18 hours a day. I think that's dangerous, I think that's bad. So, curious to hear what you think. Can giving employees too many perks and benefits at work actually be a bad thing? Again, I think fine balance. There are some organizations that do a great job of this. Cisco, LinkedIn, I know I mentioned those quite a few times in videos. Mars Drinks does another good job. There are certainly Centro's another great organization. F5 Networks. Those organizations do a great job of having some of these cool things in there, but they don't overlay this expectation of you will work here for 20 hours a day. What do you think? Do you have any cool examples or stories that you want to share? Leave me a comment below. If you want to get access to more of these videos, podcasts, or other fun stuff that I'm working on, visit thefutureorganization.com. If you want to subscribe to my newsletter, simply text the word future to the number 44222. Again, that's the word future, and the number is 44222. Or you can visit thefutureorganization.com/newsletter, and that'll get you access to that. A couple of people have been asking me about sponsorship opportunities. If you're interested in that and sponsoring videos, podcasts, newsletters, email me, jacob@thefutureorganization.com. That's it for me. I'll see you next time on an episode of The Future in 5. Hey, are you interested in the future of work? If so, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get all the latest content on the future of work and stay up to date on all the latest trends and happenings. Not to mention, you will make me very, very happy. Make sure to subscribe.